One thing that each and every person who's conscious needs to realize is that we live in a society that is anti-conscious. There's this dog looking at a nigga. It seems a bit scared, but it's curious. It seemed curious. Like, am I holding a gun? But yeah, one thing that you need to realize is that we live in a society that is anti-conscious. What do I mean? I mean that people are against those who are conscious. You know, if you have a lot of wisdom, people are going to naturally be against you. All right. If you are more conscious than people that you live with, they're going to be naturally against you. If you are more aware than people that you live with, they're going to be naturally against you. That's something that you must realize. So you must expect people to disagree with you. You must expect people to be against you. You must expect people to try to make your life hard if you are conscious. And I believe that most people who found this channel because they were conscious. They were asking themselves questions that a lot of people do not ask themselves because they are conscious. So that's how they found this channel. So I do believe that we face the same challenges. I think if you're going to be honest with yourself as a person who's conscious, it's going to be hard for you to believe that you are having a good experience. Like, it's going to be very hard for you to believe that. Even if you are trying to believe that you are having a good experience in the world, it's going to be hard. Because I know that there are some people in the world who want to believe that they're having a good experience. I mean, isn't it better to feel that way? To feel like you are having a good experience? No matter what happens, isn't it better to just feel like it's good? But it's going to be hard because you are seeing the truth that other people are not seeing. You are understanding the truth that other people are not understanding. You're going to see things as they really are. You know, if people try to hide their true intentions, you're going to see their true intentions. You know, people will hide their true intentions because they know that as humans, we hate evil. It's not that humans love evil. We actually do hate evil. The problem is that we are trying to escape suffering, and sometimes we find ourselves having to do evil things to escape suffering. You see, sometimes you suffer more when you're trying to do the right thing than when you are, being selfish. And we know that. So we take the easy route. Be like, hey man, it's much easier to be selfish. It's much easier to only think for myself, to not think about how my actions are affecting others. So even the most selfish people, they do not like evil. They are against evil. Especially when evil is being done to them. They don't want to suffer. They don't want to be mistreated. They don't want their rights taken away from them. That is why even the worst criminals do not want to get arrested, you know. So yeah, we must realize that each and every conscious being is against evil. It's just that some people are not aware of the evil that is going on in the world. So it seems like, you know, they are not against evil. They are not conscious enough to see that there are a lot of evil things that are happening in the world. I mean, we do have to acknowledge the fact that some people are just not conscious. In fact, my nigga, how are you, man? Sure. Yeah, we need to be conscious enough to acknowledge that there's, you know, so much evil going on in the world, but some people are just not conscious. That is the truth. That is why some people are not afraid to do horrible things, for real. You know, some people are not afraid to unalive people for no good reason. They're too unconscious. One of the reasons why crocodiles do not think twice before devouring their prey is because they're too damn unconscious. Like, it's not even easy to help a crocodile. You can find a crocodile stuck and try to help it, but it's going to devour you. Like, it's just so damn unconscious. But, you know, animals that are more conscious than crocodile might actually realize, you know, that you've saved its life, you know, if you save its life. But a crocodile will not even realize that you've saved its life. So some humans are like that. They are so damn unconscious. You know, no matter how you try to explain things to them, they just won't be able to understand you. So no matter how evil the world is, they just won't be conscious enough to realize that it is evil. You can tell them that, hey man, look, people being treated this way is evil, but they just won't be able to see that. Like, even if they're able to understand what you are saying, but they're not deep enough to understand what it really means. Like, some people can regurgitate what you say, but not really understand what it really means. It's like, you know, those birds that are able to imitate what people say. Like, what is it called? A parrot. I think those birds are called parrots. Like, they're able to imitate what human beings say, but they don't really understand what they mean. You see, so they'll just imitate whatever. You could curse, and you know, these birds will also curse without really understanding what you're really saying. And they're not capable of understanding what you're really saying. That's the thing. They're not capable, like, they're not deep enough to understand the meaning of what you're really saying. So you must understand that some people are just like that. That is why we disagree with, you know, one another as people. It's because we don't really understand one another. We're not operating at the same level of consciousness. I do understand that people have different interests. Like, that's the truth. We cannot all be interested in the same things, but really, if we are all operating at the same level of understanding, we will understand one another. I will be able to understand a person who's really not like me, because I'm operating at the level of consciousness that they're operating on. So even if I don't really like the same things that they like, I'll be able to understand that we're just different, but it does make sense for them to like what they like. We're just different. And if A person does like something, but it doesn't make sense for them to like what they like. You know, let's just say you like harming others, you'll be able to understand it. Like, you know, people who become vegans, for an example, you know, you like how meat tastes, but if you're conscious enough, you know that, but nah, man, like these animals are suffering. You see, you acknowledge that the animals are suffering, even though you like how meat tastes. So you can still decide that you still want to eat meat, but you know that the way that we're treating animals as humans is cruel. But if you're unconscious, you're gonna be like, oh no, 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 it's natural. You know, these people who are like that, who will, you know, try to defend humans for, you know, treating the animals the way that they treat animals. It's not like there is something that they understand that vegans do not understand. No, they are just not conscious. Like, that's the issue. It's like you can have a discussion with someone who believes without a doubt in their minds that killing animals for food is a good thing. Like, you can have a discussion with them, but they won't understand you on the level that they need to understand you. You see. So they will still convince themselves. I mean, they will still believe that this person is just crazy. You know, we're treating animals the way that we need to be treating animals. Nature wants things to be this way, so, you know, it doesn't really matter. So here's the thing, man. If you know without a doubt in your mind that this realm is evil, if you know without any doubt in your mind that this realm is evil, and if you have been doing the kind of work that you needed to be doing, you know, what do I mean? If you needed to be questioning everything, if you needed to be having deep conversations with other people, trying to understand how they think, what they think, if you've been researching a lot of, you know, different philosophical ideas, I do believe that you will actually reach this conclusion that no, actually, there is something wrong with this realm for real. Like, it's not just me, not like really being in love with this realm, or me not being adequate enough to kind of function in this realm. Like, there's just something that isn't right. So if you feel that way, if you truly feel like there's something wrong with the world, if you have no doubt in your mind that there's something wrong with the world, trust me, there's no reason to live in fear. There's no reason to protect yourself from criticism. You're so afraid of being criticized by people, you're so afraid of being judged by people, that you are not authentic. There's no reason for you to not be authentic. There's no reason for you to not question everything. There's no reason for you to tolerate things that do not make sense to you. Like, there's no reason for you to tolerate things that do not make sense to you. If something does not make sense to you, acknowledge that it does not make sense and do not tolerate it. Live a life of authenticity, all right? Be yourself 100%. It needs to get to a point where you do not let anything slide. It needs to get to a point where you don't let anything slide. You're so real that you don't let anything slide. You literally impose your will on this reality. Even if it means that everyone else is going to judge you, you shouldn't be afraid of being judged. Because think about it. If you are right, it means you literally stand for something that's much bigger than yourself. You see, like if you're right, you literally stand for something that's much bigger than yourself. So if you stand for something that's much bigger than yourself, why should you protect yourself? Why should you be living in fear? If you're an internationalist, why should you be afraid to say, I'm an internationalist? This is really what I believe. Think what you think, it's fine. You can judge me, it's fine. Because here's the thing, you are allowing people who are unconscious to make you feel less of yourself for not being like them, even though you are more conscious than them. Do you understand that that is not a good thing? It's not a good thing to allow people who are less conscious than you to dominate, you see? Just because they are more confident than you, or the world has accepted them, so they feel like it is okay for them to be the way that they are. And the world has not accepted you yet, so you kind of feel like, no, I actually need to dumb down a little, or to do things the way that they are doing things. I shouldn't be different, because if I'm going to be different, then they're going to judge me. Yeah, they're going to judge you. That's how it works, because you are a threat to their way of life. So they have to judge you. They won't even understand why they judge you. They won't even understand why they disagree with you. You see, to these humans, it's not about what makes the most sense. That's something that you must realize. It isn't about what makes the most sense. It's about survival. They're trying to survive. Most people are not conscious enough to ask themselves the deepest questions about life, to even care about the truth. You understand? They are just trying to survive, because, well, what should they do? They're trying to survive, right? But you're not just trying to survive. You're conscious enough to ask yourself the deepest questions. Most of y'all didn't start asking yourself the deepest questions because you found channels on YouTube, that discusses the deep philosophical concepts. Like that's not the reason why you start. In fact, you started asking yourself these deep philosophical questions before discovering these YouTube channels. I think every person that I've spoken to told me that they've always felt like something wasn't right, and they started asking themselves questions that other people were not asking themselves, and started searching for topics related to the questions that they were asking themselves, and that's how they discovered my channel. It's not like I convinced them that I'm right. No, they already knew that something wasn't right, so they started to search online, and see if there were people who actually will think the way that they think. And that's how they discovered channels like mine. So you shouldn't be ashamed, like there isn't much that can like really happen to you for being conscious and for being real. You don't live in a world. I mean, the world used to be much worse than it is for people who are conscious, but it's no longer as bad as it used to be. Like, you no longer live in a world where you can get unalived for being open, for being honest. Yes, there will be a lot of people who are going to mistreat you, misjudge you. There will be a lot of people who are going to hate you just because you speak the truth. I get that. And we all want to fit in. It's not easy to live your life when you are being judged by a lot of people, when a lot of people do not understand you, when a lot of people are against you. It's not easy. I fully understand that. But hey, it's not just about this life. That's another thing that you must understand. You see, if in this realm we are being manipulated, if there's something that's really wrong with this realm and you realize that there's something wrong with this realm, but you decide to play along as if everything is okay, what if there are other realms like this and you're just going to be playing along in all these realms? What if the only way to free yourself is by being real, by being honest, by choosing the truth all the time? Like in any situation, you choose the truth. Haven't you noticed that the more you choose the truth, the more conscious you become? The more you lie to yourself, the more you try to like fit in and try to play along, try to be like everyone else, the more unconscious you become. Like you get lost in these lies. Like that's what actually happens. So you get lost in the lies because you are trying to be like everyone else. You've been living a lie for so long that you actually forget that it's a lie. Like that really does happen. Like if you decided right now that you want to believe in a religion and you decided to give your all to that religion, like you study their teachings, all that, you know what will happen? You start to believe in that religion because you've been trying to, like you've been brainwashing yourself. So it's easy to believe lies because you've actually been programmed to believe lies as a human. You haven't really been programmed to believe the truth. You've been programmed to believe lies. That is why the truth makes you feel uncomfortable. You see, lies make you feel good and you want to feel good. Yeah. You remember what I was saying about people trying to avoid suffering. So if truth makes you suffer, you're going to hate it because it makes you suffer and you do not want to suffer. So you're going to be like, hey man, the truth makes me suffer, so I'd rather choose lies over truth because the truth is making me suffer. So my advice to y'all is that be real, man. It like it is worth the pain that you'd have to go through. Trust me. Like I've became so damn conscious because I was real. And I wasn't even real enough. Like I wasn't so damn real. I'm becoming more real, but yeah, the more I work on becoming more real, the more conscious I become. So I'm telling you, if you decide that you're going to be real, you decide that you're going to be honest, you decide that you're not going to you're not going to live a lie anymore, you become more conscious and you become stronger. You will be able to handle the bullshit of this world better because you will know that you're right. That's the thing. Like you'll be confident enough to be able to handle the bullshit. But if you're still going to be be trying to protect yourself from criticism, try to protect yourself from hatred, rejection and all that, it's not going to be easy for you to grow. You grow by becoming more of who you are and really and loving that and accepting that. rather than trying to fit in and trying to be accepted and trying to fit in. Like, nah, man, that's not how you grow. There's a lot of cars. I'm actually going to the bank to pay for my Wi-Fi. But yeah, man, be real. Don't be afraid. Trust me. Do not be afraid. There's like, if you find yourself feeling afraid, do what you're afraid to do. All right. Like, don't let fear conquer you. So you live in a world teeming with life, which doesn't know what it's doing here. For real. And that's not a joke. That's true. You live in a world teeming with life, which doesn't know what it's doing here. For real. And on top of that, every living being has to devour other living beings in order to survive. That is true. But what's really crazy is that doesn't make you suspicious. That doesn't make you worried, That doesn't make you ask questions. You don't find it odd that you don't know what is going on in the world. You don't find it odd that you don't know why you exist. You don't know why anything exists. You don't know why there's suffering. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's happening in other planets. You don't even know if there are other planets. I mean, you can never really know anything for sure. That's the thing. It's very possible that each and everything that you've ever been told in this world was a lie. It's possible that you've never been told the truth. It's possible that you've only been told things that will make you think in a way that the people who have been telling you these things wanted you to think. Does it not make you suspicious that you don't really know anything? Like, you don't really know anything for sure. You've been confused your whole life. Like, since you were a child, you've been confused. It's like you never really grew up, because really, if you've grown up, you would actually know some things. But what is it that you know that a kid below the age of 5 doesn't know? What is it that you know for sure that a kid below the age of 5 doesn't know? The things that you think you know might just be lies. You see? The most ignorant people who've ever lived in this planet were people who believed that they know. Like, it's very easy to be ignorant if you are convinced that you know. If you believe that you know what is going on, but you don't know what's going on, it's going to be very easy for you to be ignorant than a person who doesn't know what's going on and who admits that they do not know what is going on. They are open to learning. So that means that it's possible for them to know what they do not know. But it's impossible for a person who doesn't know what's going on, but who believe that they know what is going on, you see? But what is it that we really know? What is it that we know without a doubt? That this is the truth. We know nothing. Like every living being knows nothing. Like every living being only knows what it needs to know to be able to survive. Like you know what you need to do to survive. You know what kind of food that you need to eat. When you are sick, you know what kind of medicine you need to take. When you are lonely, you know what you might need to do. When you're scared, you know what you might need to do. But do we know why we exist? We know why anything exists? Do we know what happens once we stop existing? Do we know what created all this? How anything came into existence? We don't know. But people don't find that suspicious. They don't think that it's possible that there might be something that is not good that's going on. They don't ask themselves if they're not being manipulated. They don't ask themselves if what they consider to be reality might not even be reality. They don't ask themselves, hey, what if I'm in a prison of some sort? They don't ask themselves, hey, what if I'm in a trap of some sort? They don't ask themselves, hey, what if I'm in a simulation? How do I know anything at all? Almost every day when I wake up, I ask myself this question. Am I really not doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing as a human? And because of that, I feel like this world is awful. Or this world is really awful and I'm a very honest person. I ask myself that question almost every day, and the answer has always been the same, that the world that we live in is really awful. This realm is evil. Like there's no doubt in my mind that this realm is really evil. I mean, each and every person needs to ask themselves that question, man. If you have never asked yourself that question, what are you really doing? If you want to chase money, but be asking yourself the deepest questions about where you are. Because that is really that important. Like it is really that important that you understand something about the world that you live in. You don't just go on with your life without any clue what's going on, without any clue what might possibly be going on. You don't ask yourself any question about life, bruh. Like you don't. You think that the people who are asking themselves the deepest questions about life are just depressed, or they're just lonely, or they're just bored, or they just overthink. No. You must be asking yourself the deepest questions about life, because you really do exist and you do not know why you exist. So why shouldn't you be asking yourself the deepest questions about life if you exist and you don't even know what existence is? You understand how ignorant you'd have to be to exist and not even know what existence is. So you exist, but you don't even know what existence is. You live in a world, but you don't really know what this world is. You're conscious, but you don't even know what consciousness is. And you're not even asking yourself any question. You're just going on with your life as if you know what is going on. Like, that is really scary. And you want to bash people who are asking questions, especially if they come up with conclusions that you do not agree with, even though you haven't been asking yourself, the questions that they have been asking themselves. The questions that each and every living being that is actually, conscious enough to ask questions should be asking themselves. If you are conscious enough to ask questions, you should be asking yourself, why am I here? That is a valid question to ask yourself. And trust me, you do really deserve to know why you're here. You really, really, really deserve to know why you're here. Don't let anyone lie to you. Don't let anyone brainwash you. You deserve to know why you are here. You are having an experience. You need to know why you are having this experience. You need to know if you are having this experience for a good reason. You need to know if you are not being manipulated, if you are not being tortured, if you are not being kept in a very low state of consciousness where you know nothing. Let's not pretend as if not knowing is cool. Let's not pretend as if not knowing is a good thing. It's not a good thing. If you don't know what's going on, it is very possible that you could be getting manipulated in so many different ways. I mean, how would you know if you were being manipulated? How would you know? You don't even know what life is. You don't even know why there's anything at all. What reality is made out of. You don't know. So if you are being manipulated, how do you know that you are being manipulated? Let's say there was these evil archons that were creating a reality for you so that you will do what they want you to do. They were making you see what they wanted you to see so that you will do what they wanted you to do. How would you know that that's what's happening? I mean, you're still a child. You have no clue what's going on. So that means that anything is really possible. All right. Listen, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So how can you be so comfortable that you're like, I want to have a child? You're so comfortable that you don't mind bringing more sentient beings in a world that you really do not understand. In a world where there's so much suffering. See, you live in a world teeming with life which is suffering. You don't know what the purpose is. What the meaning behind existence is. The fact that you do not know what's going on should really be a red flag. You should consider that a red flag. Why shouldn't you know? If what is happening is good, why shouldn't you know why it's happening? Why are there no answers to the questions that we're asking? Why ain't we being given answers? Why is it okay that we do not have the answers? Why is it okay for people to make shit up and want other people to believe the things that they've made up? People starting wars because of the things that they've made up, because they want other people to believe the things that they have made up. That causes more suffering. The best way to learn is actually knowing what you are learning. So that's the best way to learn. In fact, knowing that you are learning will actually help you learn more effectively. I'm not very good at remembering directions. Like, let's say I go to a new place and I maybe decide to go somewhere, right? I would just decide to just maybe go and buy something. If I'm not telling myself that I need to know how many turns I've made, I'm not going to remember. It's only when I tell myself that, okay, I need to remember how how I will I've went to where I've walked, where I've turned. Like, I need to remember so that I won't get lost. But if I don't tell myself that I need to remember, I'm not going to remember, because I'm focusing on other things. I'm not focusing on remembering where I've turned, what I saw. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not focusing on that, so I can easily get lost. It's only when I tell myself that, hey, I don't want to get lost, because I can easily get lost. I mean, I've never been here before, so I need to try to remember everything so that I do not get lost. I'm not going to get lost if I tell myself that I need to remember everything. I will not get lost because I told myself that I need to remember everything. See, you learn when you know that you are actually learning. I mean, think about it. If someone asked you what kind of beer I was drinking, would you be able to tell them? If someone asked you, what's the name of the beer that Benedictine was drinking? Or what's the name of the beer that Benedictine liked to drink? Would you be able to tell them? Look, if you're able, listen, if you remember the name of the beer that I'm drinking and you're not from South Africa, I mean, because I know South Africans know the beer that I'm drinking. But if you remember the name of the beer that I'm drinking and you're not South African, tell me in the comment. Like, that would be impressive. I'm pretty sure that more than 90% of you will not be able to remember the name of the beer that I was drinking, that I'm drinking, actually. But because now I've asked you what the name of the beer that I'm drinking is, you're gonna pay attention. You're gonna pay attention when I drink. And now you know the name of the beer that I'm drinking. Why? Because I brought that into your attention. You see, you focus on what you want to focus on. So if we are here to learn and we don't know what we're supposed to be learning, how are we going to learn anything at all? You see, if we don't know what this is all about, how are we going to learn anything at all? If we don't even know what the meaning behind everything is. what the purpose behind everything is, what is supposed to happen, what is supposed to be the end game. You see, it's obvious that there is something very messed up that is going on behind the scenes, bruh. That is why we're not supposed to know anything, because if we knew what's going on, we probably wouldn't want to participate, We probably wouldn't want to be having children. I do believe that most people who are having children wouldn't want to have children if they really knew what is going on. But if you don't know what is going on and you can just believe anything, then, you just believe anything. Why not? Why not just believe anything if you don't know what's going on? Why not just make shit up? Because you can make shit up. Why not just make shit up if you can make shit up and people are going to believe the shit that you have made up? And you're going to make money when people believe the shit that you've made up. You see? If I can make something up about this reality and gain a following and start making money, because the people who make things up are the ones who actually make money, because they can keep on making things up, to make more money. And people, because they do not think, they will follow this kind of people. It's only the people who do not think will end up being scammed by people who make things up. If you realize that, like, people who really question what's going on, they don't get scammed. How do you scam a person who's asking the right questions? How are you going to scam a person who's going to ask you the right questions, who's going to ask you what's really going on? How do you know what you know? How do you know that what you think is the truth? If a person is asking you that, how are you going to scam them? It's not going to be easy for you to scam them, because they are asking the right questions that you probably do not have the answers to. And if you do not have the answers to this question, they will know that you do not have the answers to this question. But people who don't ask questions, because they do not ask any questions, they get easily scammed, because they'll just listen to people who will be making claims. If someone tells you that karma is real, it really matters how you treat. I mean, it does matter how you treat others. But if they tell you that if you don't treat other people well, in the next life you're going to suffer. If you ask them, hey, so doesn't that really mean that we're kind of like in a prison because we can't really escape karma? Because think about it. If I treat someone badly in this life, and it means that in the next life I'm going to suffer. Who's going to be causing my suffering? It means someone else will be causing my suffering, and they'll have to suffer in their next life because they've caused. You know what I mean? So it will mean that it's a trap by default. But people who don't ask questions, they believe anything. And most people in this world do not ask questions. They just believe what other people are telling them. It seems like they're not even capable of asking questions. Just the fact that people don't find it suspicious that they are in a world teeming with life which doesn't know what is going on. Like, you don't find that suspicious. To you, that's a good thing. To you, that is normal. And every living being has to devour other living beings in order to survive. Like, you don't find that suspicious. That doesn't make you go like, ish. Is it not possible? Is it not possible that I might actually be here for a bad reason? Like, that is that not possible? Like, there's no part of you that's like, ish. But what if that's the truth? What if I'm really here for a bad reason? Like, there's no part of you that makes you, feel that way. I mean, it is good to be optimistic, as long as you're not ignorant, right? It is good to be optimistic as long as you're not ignorant. It is good to believe that good things are going to happen in your life. Like, better than believing that good things are not going to happen in your life, because you're going to be miserable even though there's a chance that good things can happen in your life, even though even if it's possible that good things can happen in this world, even though it's possible that all this might be happening for a good reason. It is good to be optimistic, but don't be ignorant. Always keep an open mind. You see, always keep an open mind about what is really possible about where you are, than to just live life blindly, or blindly following other people just because they seem confident, or they seem to know what they are doing. I've seen a lot of people get scammed by people who act as if they know what they're doing. And I'll be surprised. Like, how is it that you're following this person just because they seem so certain? Like, they're convinced that what they believe is true. So you are also convinced that what they believe is true, because they seem like they are really convinced. Like, they seem like they really know that what they believe is true. That's how people get scammed. So it's good to be optimistic. That's good for your mental health. That's good for your mental health. But always keep an open mind. I don't encourage people to be pessimistic. I don't think I'm pessimistic. I think I'm real. I'm real. And just like I keep on telling you all, that the more I think about reality, the more I see things that other people do not see, and these things that I see do not make me feel optimistic. You see, so it's not like I want to be pessimistic, and I enjoy being pessimistic. Always finding something wrong with the world. Always focusing on the negative things that are happening in the world. Always believing that things ain't going to like work out. I'm not really like that. To me, it's about the truth. To me, it's about what is real. You see, this realm is evil. There's no doubt about it. As humanity, we have seen a lot to still think that we are having a good experience here. If you are able to put yourself in other people's shoes, if you are able to love other people, if you do not want to see other people suffering, it's very easy to see that this realm is evil, because of the amount of suffering that everyone seems to be going through. Some people suffer worse than others, but everyone is suffering. And it doesn't seem as if we are suffering for a good reason. We are suffering because there is something to be learned, or we are suffering because we are making bad decisions. So we need to learn to make better decisions so that we'll suffer less. It doesn't seem like that is the reason why we are suffering. It seems like suffering is not a bug. Suffering is a future. It seems like no matter what we do, we will suffer. It seems like there's no decision that we can make as a collective that will actually lead to no suffering. It seems like life is suffering. Doesn't matter what religion you believe in. It seems like a lot of religious people believe that there is a better place than this, and one of the reasons why they believe that there's a better place than this is because they realize that there's a lot that's going on that isn't good in this realm. So they prefer, a better world. So that is why, they believe that there's a better place than this. If we graduate, if we, do the right things, if we learn to do what God wants us to do, He will, you know, take us to a better place. We're suffering because we're not doing the right things. We're suffering because we have sinned in the past, and yeah, we need redemption. It's what religious people believe. But in almost every religion that I know, there is an afterlife, and it's better than this life. It's not like they say in an afterlife you will just find yourself in a world like this, because they know that no one wants to find themselves in a world like this. No one wants to find themselves in a world where they can be unalived at any moment, in a world of uncertainty. You don't know what the heck is going on. You are living in fear, in a world of suffering, sicknesses. People don't want to live in a world full of suffering. I don't think there is a person who actually wants to live in a world full of suffering. When people do the things that they do, good things and bad things, they're doing these things because they are trying to escape suffering. Even the most selfish people, they do selfish things because they are trying to escape suffering. So you can see that humanity doesn't want to suffer. Even animals, they do not want to suffer. There is no animal that actually wants to suffer. So of course we would prefer a world better than this. Are we wrong to prefer a world better than this? Why do we envision a world better than this? That's a very important question that we need to ask ourselves. Why does humanity envision a world better than this? Why do religious people preach about a world that is better than this, and they promise their followers that if they listen to them, they will find themselves in a world better than this? And people follow their religious teachings because they hope that they will find themselves in a world better than this. Why? Isn't it because we are suffering in this world and we don't want to suffer? There isn't a sentient being that will choose suffering. That should actually tell us something. One of the most important questions that I ask myself every day is, am I drawn to dark philosophies because I'm inadequate? So I'm in a world that is good, but I don't know what to do, or I'm not doing things right, and because of that I'm suffering. So because I'm suffering, I focus a lot on dark philosophies, or I'm focusing a lot on dark philosophies because I'm actually right, and I'm interested in the truth. It's just that the truth it's just not good. I ask myself this question every day, and the answer always comes out the same. Actually, the world that we live in is just not good. It has nothing to do with where you are in life, you know. It has nothing to do with how much money you are making. It doesn't really have to do with how poor you are. It has nothing to do with what you think you should have. We are just in an evil realm. So what we need to figure out is what we need to be doing. So once you realize and you know beyond any reasonable doubt that you are in an evil realm, it doesn't really matter what you do. You can work very hard and try to have the things that you do not have, but that doesn't really mean that you are wrong to think that you are in an evil realm. You know, if you work hard enough, if you are willing to do what it takes to have the things that you want, you will end up having the things that you want. It's not impossible. Even though some of y'all will literally need to fly, you know, to have the things that you want. But the truth is, if you are really willing to do what it takes to have what you want, you will have what you want. I think it's about to rain again. But what do we need to be doing? What do we need to be doing every day? If really we are in an evil realm, what do we need to be doing every day? Do we need to be chasing material things? It's raining again, so I'll see if I'm gonna finish recording this video in my room.